Identity. What does one's identity mean? Where you are from? Is it the culture of your ethnicity? One's origins? Maybe it is the language one speaks. I suppose identity is just a given something that's handed down at birth, and therefore is rarely a second thought on the minds of most people. I believe that a person's identity is shaped by discourses, the way we communicate through speaking, talking, or writing. Throughout the journey of my life, I've come to realize that there has always been conflicts about my identity issues. The struggle between my primary and secondary discourses. These two discourses play a prominent role on a person's thoughts, ideas, and beliefs. Primary discourses are determined by the interactions and individual experiences in his or her household. On the other hand, secondary discourses are essential for outside his or her home. I personally am a third culture kid, which means that I have a combination of many different discourses, since I am made up of a part of many communities around the world. I will try to explore how the four cultures Thai, Southern Thai, Chinese, and English play a role in determining my cultural and linguistic discourses, and therefore my identity. Firstly, I will implement these discourses into a pyramid diagram, in which the top level of the pyramid will be my primary discourses, and at the bottom, my secondary discourses. Each level will be divided into two sections, cultural and linguistic discourses. I will begin with my cultural discourses in the primary discourses. At the individual level, I grew up with three main discourses, Thai, Chinese, and Yala cultures. As an individual, I identify myself as a Thai citizen. However, I am biologically 100% Chinese. Both of my grandparents are from China. However, my paternal side immigrated to central Thailand while the other immigrated to Yala, a small province in the south of Thailand. Yala and Chinese mannerisms play a significant role on my daily household. Yala and Chinese mannerisms, such as talking loudly, being straightforward, and laughing loudly, are extremely similar due to the fact that Yala was once a trading post for Chinese merchants. However, being raised in a Thai society caused many of my Chinese and Yala mannerisms to be subdued as they extremely contradict Thai mannerisms. To be polite in Thai culture, an individual has to be quiet and respectful. For example, Thai citizens can show respect by ending every sentence with ka or krup, depending on your gender. Whenever I am communicating with someone I respect, I tend to be more quiet and always use krup at the end of every sentence. However, when I communicate with my friends, I find myself integrating more of Chinese and Yala mannerisms, in which I never why and I express myself however I want. Let's move on to my linguistic discourses in the primary discourse level. Firstly, I believe that language affects and determines a person's identity because it is essential to every aspect of our interactions with the world around us. As a child, we begin by learning one language or our mother language. For example, my mother language is Thai. As a result of having Thai as my first language, I feel as if I am most influenced by the Thai culture. Language is like a doorway or a key to a whole new culture in which you get to interact with the cultures and people of that culture by communicating with them. Consequent of having Thai as my first language, my identity is heavily based on Thai cultures, since Thai people are the first group of people that I can communicate with. Before I was introduced to other languages, most of my thoughts were in Thai. However, as I was introduced to other languages such as English, I started to use more and more of that language in my everyday thoughts. Currently, I still think in Thai since it is my mother tongue, but I think in English whenever I am under stressful or serious conditions, because I was introduced to English at school, which is a place that forces me to think critically and become serious. However, I do not think in Southern Thai or Chinese, as I feel that I am weak in those two languages. I can speak 4 different languages: Thai, Southern Thai, Chinese, and English. I frequently find myself using a mixture of all 4 languages. I can fluently speak English and Thai. However, I am not fluent in Mandarin and Southern Thai, since I am not entirely capable of communicating through Mandarin, which forces me to code switch between Thai and Mandarin. The Southern Thai language is the same as Central Thai language, except the fact that it is spoken in an accent with the addition of a few extra words. Similar to Mandarin, I also code switch between Thai and Southern Thai. All of the following languages all have different dialects, different sounds, different vocabularies, and different structures. As a result, I feel as if each language represents a different side of me or a different identity, because each language forces me to think and experience things in a different perspective. The fact that each language has its own distinct accent or dialect gives each language its own unique tone. Subsequently, I choose to use a certain language depending on who my audience is and what the context is. For example, when I communicate with my friends, I tend to use English because its tone is more laid out and more informal in comparison to Thai. I also use Thai to communicate formally because the Thai language has a wider vocabulary to express my feelings. Because of this, I can accurately communicate what I am intending to say. As a result of using a certain language depending on its tone, I feel as if it also forces me to act and think in a certain way corresponding to the language's tone. Furthermore, let's transition to my cultural discourse in the secondary discourse level. At the community level, another discourse I obtained was a result of learning English at an international school. Many places, such as the library, canteen, or the gym, helped me nurture this new secondary discourse. However, this secondary discourse also conflicts with my primary discourse. For example, the Thai culture requires a younger individual to call an older individual P as a sign of respect. Consequent of my English discourse at school, Western cultures seem to overtake expected Thai norms when students are socializing with their friends. As a result, I do not call upperclassmen P anymore. I would often refer to them directly by their name. Furthermore, another problem in the secondary discourse is my language discourses. Since many of the students at school, including myself, are capable of speaking 2 or more languages, there is a frequent use of code mixing, the act of combining many languages in a single conversation. Whenever I communicate with my friends, I sometimes find it difficult to prevent myself from code switching between 4 different languages. I code switch between certain languages depending on the context of who I am speaking to. By being multilingualism, there are some words in a language that cannot be translated to another. For instance, there is a term in Mandarin known as le. It is a very complicated term and it cannot be translated into any other language. It is rather used at the end of a sentence and it requires instinct and gut feeling to know when it has to be used at the end of a sentence. It is things like this that makes it challenging for me to express what I am trying to say when I am multilingualism. I feel as if language is a big part of a culture in which it is utilized to portray the cultures of a race. It is something that differentiates communities. As a result of being able to comprehend so many languages, I feel as if I do not belong to any of the communities, but rather stuck in the middle between all of these communities. From what I mentioned, it may seem as if language discourses are full of cons. However, there is also a bright side to it. Not only does language portray the cultures of a race, but it also constructs and portrays a person's identity. As a person develops a new language, they will acquire their own distinct way of speaking that language. Their own personal way of speaking a language may vary from word choice to their sentence structure. As a result, we can identify a person by the way they choose their words and how they form their sentences. This idea also applies to groups of very close friends. As friends spend more and more time with each other, they tend to adopt each other's way of speaking. It can also develop into jargon or slangs, which are special words that are used by a group that others are unable to understand. Friends may utilize jargon to form a stronger bond between their friendship, as the primary reason for jargons are to establish a sense of commonality amongst its speakers. A common slang that I use between my friends is the word lit. This term is used to describe something that the person is extremely enthusiastic about. Basically, it is the 2018 version of the 80s or 90s slang sick or rad. This concept is similar to the idea of inside jokes, which are jokes that only a small group understands. This depicts that language does not only portray certain cultures, but it also constructs a person's own unique identity. In conclusion, I do not identify myself representing a certain culture, but a byproduct of 4 different cultures. I believe that I do not represent a single discourse, but an integration of 4 different discourses. At times, these 4 different discourses may make me confused about who I truly am, due to the fact that they are so different, to the extent where they may even contradict each other. However, I am grateful for having these 4 different discourses, since they influence who I am today. Without these discourses, I would totally be a different person.